roll cage time. We've been sitting on that for like a year. Anyway, we're waiting on the block at the machine shop still, so what better time to put the cage in while this thing's nice and lightweight and we can jack it up easy and crawl under it and around it and on top of it. Already kind of got started here. Got our holes in the floor. We're going to tie this one into the frame. We'll try to make it actually legal for the track if we ever decide to go drag racing it or anything. So this is a Rhodes race car 10-point kit. Pretty cheap. They're like $500 or something. So everything seems to be nice and long so far. So we got our holes in the floor. We got it far enough back where we can get a seatbelt bar in it, and we can still kind of recline the seats a little bit. So right now we're going to try to get our elevation. Our elevation of the hoop. So we can start doing our frame outriggers. So it's going to be right in that area somewhere. Might have to like hang a zip tie, or I don't know, to do something. Maybe get a zip tie from there to there, and we can adjust the where it's going to lean back to. Okay, outriggers. We found some 1.5 by 2.5, 5.5 inches long. So, outrigger, weld into frame, roll cage to outrigger. Supposedly that's the legal way. Tonight when I'm laying in bed and I can't sleep, I'll go over the NHRA rules and stuff again, but pretty sure that's the legal way to do it. Okay, back hoop's in, top hoop's in. Running into some issues. I wanted the back hoop kind of farther back so we could recline a little bit, but the problem is it's making everything else go back, obviously. So to get these up tight against the dash, they're actually going to be too short to go through the floor and hit where we need. Okay, day 2 of the roll cage. After many trials and tribulations, we finally got the main 4-point structure in here. Lots of cutting and moving and trying to get all the angles right and the gaps right. I got a little spacer in there kind of holding me sideways. It wants to move about 1/4 inch, so I'm hoping once I get everything, all the dash bar and seatbelt bar and all the triangulation, all that crap in here, that that'll kind of stay put. If not, it's not a big deal. Nobody will ever see it. It's just for my own peace of mind. Dash bar. Dash bar. The roll cage is all seamed, 1 3/4 120 wall. All I had in the rack was a piece of DOM. So they send you a straight dash bar. But you don't like how that fits. Ooh, I got some cuts in my hand. Oh, that feels good. We're all set up in the bender. We've got the start of our bend mark right there. And I've already made a mistake, because if we do this, it's going to bend it to the inside. So, got to take this tube out, flip it over, and start again. I haven't used this thing in over a year, so yeah. Anyway, to get to our other side here, we already got it set up and kind of snugged up. We just need to get this angle flat. So when we bend our other side, it's stays true. So basically we're just gonna we'll zero this. You can see we're way screwed up here. Snug this back up and double check it. It's got a little bit of a sag to it, so that's why you want to put a little pressure on it. .05 down. .1, so we're within .05, so that's plenty good there. We're still on our mark. Yeah, yep. And let's see, we got the slack out of it. We're at 0. Okay, we went to 55. It's got about 3 degrees spring back, so we're 52, somewhere in there. So not quite to our 60. We'll sneak up on that, but I honestly think this is going to be plenty. So anyway. Okay, so instead of taking this thing in and out of the car, we're basically just going to do a mock-up. So I measured where my 2 down bars are. We got them on the fab table. So we're going to just do some marking and make it fit right here. And then we can just kind of transfer that. Okay, we had to hand cope these because I don't have one of those fancy ones that'll do all the angles, and we're too close to the end of the pipe there. But as you can see, took quite a bit of back and forth, but we got our 2 little standoffs right at 52 inches, which is exactly what the roll bar is. And we got an acceptable fit, I would say. Dash bar installed. Welded out. See, that thing would have been all the way up here. And I know we're not like super tight to the dash, but we still got room. We can mess around with the column, you know, drop it, get it out. And yeah, I didn't want to go much lower, and I really couldn't go any farther back. So, you know, it's not much, but I think it makes all the difference. It's still comfortable to sit in here. I put the seat in. I can jam on all the pedals without hitting my leg on the bar, so good to go there. I guess now we'll start with our door bars, even though I probably shouldn't. I should probably work on the back bars because it'll be easier to get in and out. I don't know. Day 3. Oh, gotta shut that music off. Hey Pandora, stop the music. She can't hear me. She has selective hearing sometimes too, I think. Hey Google, stop the music. Did I call it Pandora? I don't know. It's kind of early still. Day 3. Mind you that these days are like about 2 hours before work every morning. So we got door bars, dash bar, seatbelt bar, everything's in. So starting to kind of mock up these little guys. What do they call them? D-bar kickers? I don't know. Anyway, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to weld a full cross member across, which will be in the way of the drive shaft. But what I'm gonna do is, after I get the motor and trans back in, I'll cut the center of that cross member and build in a drive shaft safety hoop. So that will be nice for that. Another safety feature added, and it'll help kind of stiffen up the frame. And it'll take care of my points of contact where those tie into the frame. Before I do those though, I think we're gonna cut all the outriggers off. We're gonna drop this thing down and fully weld it out. And when I do those, I'll just have to cut some bigger windows in the floor and weld them from the top side. And then we'll patch the floor back in. Excuse the fan noise. Okay, outriggers cut off, cage dropped down. All the tops are welded. Everything else is welded, everything's good. Now we'll jack her back up into place. We'll get the outriggers tacked back on the frame, and I think we'll go put it on the lift. And we'll finish all the welding on the lift. Okay, I probably should have ran these the other way. It would have been a lot stronger. But I think, obviously, too late now. We'll do a little triangle gusset there. Try to tie them in a little better. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do a full cross member across here. Get the drive shaft out of the way. And then we'll come in after it's done and we'll slice it. And we'll do a drive shaft safety hoop. Cross member. All welded in. Got our drive shaft hanging about where it rides. So now we're going to bend up a loop. We are back. Oh, it's probably a week later. We were waiting for our little hoop to come in. So this thing was super long, and it would have been dragging on the ground, obviously, because we're at the bottom of the frame there. So, and we had to flush it up in the floor a little bit in order to get our clearance, because obviously our suspension's fully sagged out right now. So, but it turned out pretty cool. All right. So what we ended up with in here, I was going to open up the floor and drop it down to the cross member, but these things were already coped like perfectly, and it just went right into the loop there. So I think that's plenty good. Day 642. I'm an idiot. Just realized that this kit is 1 5/8. 1 5/8 die. I was like, why is there so much stroke coming out just to pull the slack out of this thing? So that's not going to work. So got to find an 1 5/8 die, or find somebody with a 1 5/8 die, because I need to bend these two back bars so they'll go through the package tray. So that tube I put in there was mine. That was 1 3/4. Anyway, so while we're waiting on a couple of return text messages to see if anyone's got a die, we're going to start filling in these holes, I guess. My plan for doing those is 3-inch OD. Then I'm going to drill a hole out in the center with a step bit. And then I'm going to use this 1 5/8 knockout. And then I'm actually going to just split these in half so that they'll go around the tube, and then I'll weld them. Weld the tube to the floor, tie it all together. I'm going to try to knock them all out at the same time, so let's see how that goes. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Cool, so now we got our 1 5/8, and then we got a 3-inch hole that'll take care of any gap on the floor. Now we just split them in half and weld them in the old phase converter. So we have a hole. Need to get better at not moving the camera around. There we go. Just gotta trim out this dyno mat, clean up the floor a little bit. and weld them in. The 19th time this is going to go in the car. Hopefully it fits. Hopefully. Not good. Back in the hole, over the bar. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hello. Okay. Good fit. Little tight. Might take another inch off it just to get a little more room for headliner action. So we need 50 degrees right there. This one's gonna get cut right there and then coat there. Done. Those sucked a lot. As you can see, we started over there and kept moving it. This one's going to be a nice easy patch. But I think that's getting aluminum back there, so whatever. But we got some patching to do in here. These welds are not pretty because of where we were at. But yeah, we had to cut some pretty monster holes out of there in order to get the MIG gun in there. So good though for a store-bought kit. Fits all right. We did a few little tweaks on it. They came with straight bars, so I think they want you to go through the back seat, but we're not sure what we're going to do with the back seat. We might put one back in it, even though nobody will ever sit back there. But yeah, Rhodes race cars, that's where it came from. And it's 1 5/8, 134 wall, so I guess that's NHRA legal is what they tell me. I thought seam tubing had to be 1 3/4 inches, but I guess not. Is it seamed? Yeah, there's the weld seam. Yep. DOM on the back too, because that's all we had, and then DOM on the dash bar. 1 3/4 inches, 120. Everything else 1 5/8, 134. Tied into the frame at all points. Thanks for watching.